Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the Earth Witch, and today's video is about cleansing spray. Cleansing spray is an alternative to saging and smudging your house and your sacred space. So if you're sensitive to smoke, or you have asthma, or you're a closet witch, you can make a cleansing spray instead, and it'll work just as well. It's just all about your intention and what you're trying to do. Now you can use any herbs that are cleansing and have cleansing properties. However, these are just some of the herbs that I use and I find works really well. Most of these herbs I'm using you can get at a local grocery store if you're in the US. And yeah, so let's just get started. So I keep my cleansing spray in a spray bottle that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's just a plastic spray bottle. You can use like a glass spray bottle if you're not into plastics and stuff. This is reusable, and it's safer to have around my son because he is still a young boy, and if he wants to spray his room with supervision, of course, I don't want him having a glass spray bottle that he could possibly drop and break. So this is safe, and it's pretty big for our house. So what we're going to do for this is I have a pot here because we're gonna do an infusion. And this is like making a tea, except for it's going to boil for longer. And so what I'm gonna do is tell you the ingredients I have, and then I'll take you to my kitchen and show you it boiling and talk to you a little bit more about it there. This is what the infusion looks like afterwards. If you can see that, it's like a rich golden color to it. It smells absolutely divine, and I'll tell you why it smells so good. But now onto the ingredients. The first ingredient is thyme. This here is lemon thyme. It's straight from my garden, so I'm just going to pretty much throw it in here. I'm going to break up some of the pieces that are bigger, maybe cut them a little bit. I'm going to add the stems because why not? Stems also include water soluble content, so it's not going to hurt to add some stems along with it. If you hear pitter patter, my dog Sally is in here and she's just walking circles for whatever reason. Alright, so we're just gonna put the thyme in here. I think I might maybe I'll use this whole thing. Just gonna keep making it, just gonna make it stronger. I'll use one more sprig. This is a mixture of fresh and dried plant matter herbs. Because that's what I have. Like right now outside growing, I have thyme. Herb-wise, I have thyme. I always have rosemary growing, which is going to be the next ingredient that I'm putting in here. And I don't feel like taking off all the leaves, so I'm just going to cut it up and throw it in here. I have 2 thyme bushes and 2 rosemary bushes going right now. I also have parsley, and that's it for like herbs currently. I'm going to expand my herb garden more this spring, and I'm going to be making a witch's garden videos as well. So rosemary is very cleansing. I use rosemary in like everything. It's just flying everywhere. I use rosemary in everything because it's just an all-around good herb to add to your magical apothecary. So next I am adding roses, and adding roses is going to bring a loving atmosphere. Because this is my house, I do have my family here, and since I'm getting rid of bad energy, I also want to bring in a loving energy. So I'm gonna use rose petals. I might as well use all of them because I always have more roses that I have like drying on my drying rack over there that I can fill this jar back up with. So roses. And there's no exact science to how much of each to put in here. I just go with the flow. Now I'm gonna use some basil. I'm not gonna use a lot of basil because I'm almost out of basil, and this was the basil that I grew this summer. So I'm gonna be growing some more definitely, but I want this to last until the growing season. So I'm not gonna use too much basil. All right, and I'm also going to be using sage. So instead of burning the sage, you can put it into infusion like this. Also, everything in here, you can also drink as a tea. So if I have too much, I might make a small cup of tea with whatever I have left. I'm not gonna use a lot of sage because sage is very strong. It extracts very well in water, and I don't want to overpower everything that's going on in here. And the last thing I'm going to add is cinnamon. Now I'm not using cinnamon powder because I'm going to strain these herbs from the infusion when I'm done, so that it's clear like this and there's no like herbs floating in the bottom, because they can get stuck in the little spray bottle tube here. And I've done that before. I've made a cleansing spray and I left the herbs in the bottle and it didn't work out so well. I lost a lot of that cleansing spray because I didn't take it out. All right, I'm using cinnamon sticks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set them on top for now, mainly because I'm going to use 3, mainly because I don't have my mortar and pestle in here, but I'm going to break these up into like larger chunks. I don't want powder because I don't want it getting into the actual final product. And so, yeah, I'm going to break them up into my mortar and pestle that I left in the kitchen because I just washed it because I use the thing like every single day. Now I pre-filled this with water to about the spot that I want it to be at, and I'll probably use a little less than this because I still have some in here that I'm going to add back to it. And I have other ingredients that I'm going to add to it as well once we're done with the infusion process. So actually no, I'll just use all of this because some of it will probably boil out. Some of the water will boil out of this. All right, so this is the beginning of how to make my cleansing spray, and now we're going to head to the kitchen. See you there. All right, y'all, so we're in my kitchen and I have the stove at about medium to high heat. I'm actually going to add some more water to it, more than I need, because I'm gonna make a tea as well. Use the rest of it for tea, why not? And water's gonna cook out of it, so. Now I have my mortar and pestle in here because, as I said, I just cleaned it. And so now I'm just gonna crush up these cinnamon sticks a bit, not too much.
You better not play certain. Why you just making a free phone?
Why am I making a video?
Yeah.
It's a video about my cleansing spray. You know the spray I sprayed around? That is about the size of the cinnamon chunks. They're not too small. There's not much like tiny pieces in there. I'm going to take these out with my hand and place them in just to make sure that I don't place in too many like small pieces of cinnamon. So next I'm going to take a spoon and just make sure everything gets a little bit wet. especially the rose petal.
Bird's nest. What else could she talk? Oh my gosh, what is going on in this thing? Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na.
Alright, now I'm gonna cover it and let it simmer for about 10 minutes and I'll come back and check on it. Alright y'all, so it's been 10 minutes. Just gonna uncover it and now I'm going to stir it with my intention. Counterclockwise for cleansing. Cleanse the home.
Do you know what animal this could be?
Bring in loving, compassionate, sweet energies. And clockwise to bring in loving energy. Want a loving atmosphere within the home. As you can see, all of the herbs have lost like their vibrant colors, especially the roses. So you know that this herbal matter is spent. And after this, I am going to put all of these herbs and stuff into my compost because all that was in here is water, and all of this can break down and give life back to my spring garden. Okay everyone, back in the apothecary after I did the infusion. As you can see, it is very, very dark and rich and just full of magic. I, of course, enchanted and stirred in my intention with this mixture, and it's a little warm, but it's fine. So now I'm going to start putting in here. I also made myself a little cup of tea, so I'm gonna taste it and see how it is. It's very strong smelling of sage. I barely use any sage, and I smell sage a lot. I smell a lot of cinnamon and also rosemary. So let's taste it. Let's try it out. No sugar, no honey, none. Woo, that is strong. That's some strong tea, but I mean it's meant to cleanse you. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is add what I had before back into this. As you can see, this is much lighter than this one this time. So now I'm going to pour this in, hopefully without spilling it all over myself or all over my space, because I clean this room like once a week and it's always dirty the next day, I swear. I put it in a measuring cup because it has this little lip here that should make it easier for pouring into bottles like this. Just have to go very slow. All right, some extra pieces that got through settled there, but look how dark this is. That is like twice as much dark as before. I think I may have added one too many rosemary stems, you know, because rosemary can give off a very dark color as well as roses. And I did use quite a bit of roses. So this is the base to my spray. This is the infusion of all the herbs that you saw me mix and put together. Now what I'm going to add to this is I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar. And why I'm doing this is because vinegar is very cleansing. You can use regular white vinegar. I don't have any regular white vinegar here. I have apple cider vinegar. And apples have a very protective quality. Like when you slice open an apple, you see a pentagram, which is a protective symbol for the witch community. So this is like protection as well as cleansing. So I'm gonna add a little bit, maybe like, I don't know, Let me measure it in, no, I'm not gonna measure in here because there's some spent stuff in there. Maybe like 1/4 of a cup or so, not much at all because I don't want this whole thing to just smell like apple cider vinegar. So yeah, I'm gonna shake it up and add a bit to it. Not gonna pour it over my grandma. That'd be a disaster. Okay. Yep, that's probably good. Smells a little apple apple vinegary, but it'll be fine. All right. And the last ingredient that I'm adding is Florida water. You don't have to use Florida water if you can't access it or if you're a closet witch and they know that Florida water is a spiritual cologne. But Florida water is very protective and cleansing. I use this a lot in cleansing baths. I'm almost out, so I'm gonna use the rest of this in this cleansing spray. But it also leaves a beautiful scent throughout the air. So it's a 2-in-1, 3-in-1. Cleansing, protective, and the scent is magnificent. And you don't need a lot of it for it to just take over. Every last drop. I wish I had more. I'm gonna have to go past the apothecary, then I can add more. But as you see, when I started this and I filled this up with water, I filled it to about here. So we lost like a good amount of water in the infusion process. And even before I did the infusion, I added more water to the actual infusion because I knew we were gonna lose water, and I was gonna make myself a little bit of tea. Now with this tea though, what I'm about to do is pour it in a mason jar and add some more water to it. Just so it won't be as strong and it'll last me a couple of days. So I can cleanse my body and myself from the inside. And it'll all work just the same. So I'm gonna let this sit and cool down more before I put the lid on it. Mainly because I don't want any like heat and gases to get trapped within this. But let me give it a smell. Oh, that smells really good. Last time it smelled more like Florida water, but the apple cider vinegar mixed with this Florida water makes it very, very citrusy. It's almost like orange, kind of smells orangey. Now you can also skip the Florida water and the apple cider vinegar if you don't want to add any of that, and you can just use the infusion that we made. Or you can also add to this, add some essential oils to it, add some eucalyptus or some lavender or sandalwood oil if you got some of that. Frankincense oil is a great one because frankincense is really good for cleansing. Oh, that smells so good, y'all. I'm proud of this one. So that is it for this video. I'm gonna just let this sit and cool. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe in another video, I'll show you exactly how I cleanse my house. Sometimes I use just this. Sometimes I go all out and I'll smoke cleanse, follow it up with one of these, and I'll have my son running around the house ringing a dang bell, you know? For a deep cleanse. That doesn't include any like special rituals. So this is very beginner friendly. Just walk around the house, spray, 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 and set your intention. Tell them spirits and bad energy, juju, all that stuff to make their way out. I always open the doors so that they have a way out of here. All right, so I'm done. I'm done talking. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell notification button if you want to see more from me and be notified when I post. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out.